Thank you, Eric. Lansing lawmakers officially begin their lame duck session tomorrow, and they have a tight window in which to get priorities done between now and when newly elected lawmakers are sworn in.
The lame duck session is significant because in January, Republicans will retake control really, of the House, ending the so-called trifecta during which Democrats have controlled not only the House, but also the Senate and the governor's office.
In past years, lawmakers have pushed through legislation in lame duck sessions. Will we see that again? Mid-Michigan Now's Courtney Bennett is here. You've spoken with a political science professor. What does he have to say about it?
Still, and Mike, he doesn't see Lansing lawmakers pushing through a lot of legislation in this lame duck session, but Democrats are incentivized to get as much done as possible before they lose the majority in the Michigan House.
It means that anything that gets done will have to have the support of some, at least Republicans.
For the rest of this legislative session, Michigan lawmakers are trying to get things passed in Lansing. John Clark is a political science professor at Western Michigan University. He says both Republicans and Democrats have some priorities they are focused on.
And so anything that doesn't get done before adjournment later in December is essentially dead for now. And the process has to start over again in the new session. So there's a lot of incentive simply because of that.
Clark says legislation that's expected to take a while deals with minimum wage and paid sick time. The bipartisan legislation was introduced last month. It comes after a Michigan Supreme Court ruling that focused on phasing out tipped wages for restaurant workers. And the earned sick time legislation would require businesses to offer paid time off to all employees. These House bills would amend the current laws.
I think it's fairly interesting, in part because of the fact that Democrats control all the levers right now, and because they've got these couple of pretty significant pieces of legislation that are going to take some time to work through.
In the past week, lawmakers have introduced nearly 100 bills between the House and Senate. That's according to the daily bill status reports. Clark says sometimes we've seen lawmakers wait to introduce legislation until after the election because they fear it's too controversial and they think it'll cost them their seats.
I'm certainly not aware of anything that Democrats have just been sitting on because they thought, oh my gosh, if we do this before the election, we're going to lose tons and tons of seats. I'm not aware of anything like that. Got to pay attention. We might be surprised.
The House returns to session at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. The Senate starts at 10 in the morning. And right now, there's not a set end date before lawmakers leave for holiday break. For now, live in the studio, Courtney Bennett, Mid-Michigan Now.